Hey, this is the Spectre on YouTube, and I'm going to basically be discussing or talking about, not discussing because there's no one here to discuss it with, The Walking Dead. I'm watching this series for quite a long while, and I don't think I've talked about it much at all. And there's a lot of views on the show, particularly from comic book fans, people that read these, like me. The book's really great. I would highly recommend checking that out. It's probably just a smidge harsher or darker, edgier than the show. Of course, that's hard to really compare because the show's pretty fucked up. It is for especially someone my age that grew up in the '80s. I can't believe they can even put that shit on the air. But so anyway, assessing the show, I think it's a cool show. I mean, you have an episodic series about zombies and people surviving the apocalypse, and they've managed to pull it off for the most part, I think, quite well. But the longer it goes on, the more the comic book the series deviates from the original source material of the comic, and that's where a lot of comic book fans criticize it. But it's TV series, it's an adaptation, and it's gonna get changed quite a bit, and it has been changed quite a bit. Doesn't mean it's bad, but some people think it's pretty, and I can understand some of it because I think the one thing that I don't, and it's in its fifth season, so shows tend to, this is this is when usually the point in the lifespan of a television series where it's just kind of, this is like it's definitely middle aged or whatever. It's having a midlife crisis of sorts, and it's just it's very some of the things they do, because the series when it started out was the group, and of course people get killed and things change, situations change, they move on to different locations, they find refuge in different places, they come, etc., etc. So it's understandable, but I think it's like since the CDC, maybe like Woodbury, since the governor season, and they left the prison, it's just gotten, they've been, of course, on the run. They escaped Terminus, which was spoiler alert, there's cannibals. I don't know why I don't know, the one thing about this show is I don't understand why why even go into these places? They've walked into so many traps, and I know they have to find refuge somewhere because the world has just hordes of zombies, lumbering about, but it just seems to me that I don't know why they wanted this Terminus. I don't know why. This current season, they've sought refuge in this Alexandria, Virginia compound, and it's just basically like this yuppie. It's unlike anything, Rick and Daryl and Carol and Tyrese isn't there anymore. Glenn and Maggie and Carl have encountered. This is just the suburbs. It's like a development. It's like just one of those kind of sort of yuppie-ish, just very suburban development that's walled off with these steel walls. And they encountered this guy. I can't even remember his name right now, but I think it's Aaron. They encountered Aaron, and they were, I guess, watching them, and they gave them water, and they left it in the middle of the road, and they didn't trust it or anything like that. So anyway, Aaron just comes up to him, and he looks like he just came out of like an LL Bean catalog. He's just this clean looking camper who's well groomed, and he's encountering these grimy, basic, basically zombie warriors or whatever you want to call them. They have no access to showers or food on a regular basis or any sort of medical supplies or anything like that. Just they can't. Everything's been mostly pilfered and pillaged. So they're all pretty, just hanging by a thread for the most part after they left the church with the priest guy that I think they should kill, because I really fuck that guy. I don't like him at all. He's a little, and he just in the last episode he went and he was going to the woman who was the head of the compound in Alexandria, and I can't remember her name. She's a politician. I don't trust her either. But Father or whatever his name is, I can't remember at the moment. Because I don't even like him, so I don't think about him much, and he hasn't even been in the season all that much. He's kind of been more of a, he comes in here and there character, and he's turning on them, and he's telling the leader, basically the leader of the Alexandria compound, that Rick and the rest of them are dangerous and don't trust him, and he's just trying to be safe because he's ostensibly just a coward, so they don't dig him anyway. And I actually have, this is to me where the show has picked up. I've been kind of disappointed in it the first half of the 5th season. It just focused a lot on Beth in the hospital. Not that it was terrible. I thought they just had too much of that, and then Beth was. It seemed like she was just fairly well featured, but kind of throwaway character. They didn't really have much to do with her. It's almost like what they did with Tara on True Blood. They just in the last season of True Blood, they just kind of killed her off for no reason, and didn't want to write for her. So they threw Beth away, and then Maggie, her sister, of course, she's extremely devastated, and it's just horrible. I mean, Daryl's carrying Beth out, and she's dead. And that was the mid-season finale, because TV series now have mid-season finales. But getting on with it. So, Father, I can't remember his name, the shaved-headed guy. Yeah, he's black. I'm not going to I don't want to be racist and say he's black. He's black. But he's a total pussy. And I don't want to be sexist in saying that he's pussy, but he is. He's fucking pussy. And he just is. He sucks. I just would fucking... I don't know why the gang kept him around. I mean, I guess they do seem to take mercy out on people. They didn't understand his situation. But he left people... He locked himself up in the church, and a bunch of zombies killed off his congregation, or a lot of people that were surrounding his church, so that makes him kind of that's major dick move right there. And he was against killing, so he just fucking you're fucking useless. If you're against killing, you can't be in the zombie apocalypse. You may as well kill yourself on day one if you're against killing. So, anywho, Rick and Michonne have been appointed as basically mall security guards. That's what they have, the uniforms they have within this compound. But they're still who they were on the outside, so they're not adapting quite as well. And Rick sort of hit on the doctor's wife, and that was a little bit, kind of kissed her on the cheek for no reason, but we sort of whatever. And what else happened? Shit, it's just messed up. And then the last episode was just awful. Noah got killed. I like Noah. Noah got killed. He's one of the, and I guess when they're sort of become an endearing character of some kind, he got killed brutally. They were in a revolving door, and they just ripped him to shit. Glenn was on the other side of the window within the revolving door, and I mean Noah the zombies ripped his face apart basically on the other side of the glass. It was the goriest thing I think I've ever seen on The Walking Dead. I can't believe they fucking did that. I really can't. This show is fucking off the hook. I can't believe the stuff that they... I mean, I don't even almost see things that gory on, Game of Thrones, which is on HBO. The only difference is they have, nudity and kind of graphic simulated sex, but The Walking Dead is just insane. It's... So it sucked Noah got killed, and this other... I think the woman who heads the compound, her son... got impaled on a grenade. She was shooting at a zombie that had a riot gear outfit on, military gear, and he had saw a grenade hanging off, and the dumb shit shot the grenade. He got thrown and impaled on a metal, you know, some, you know, piece of metal protruding out somewhere, and so he got fucking eaten. And he told him to leave him. Glenn was trying to save him, and they just let him get devoured, which was fucking. It was a gory scene too. I mean, the show is very gory for it, and that's the nature of the show. Of course, it's gory. I mean, it does go through periods where you don't see anything. You don't see a zombie for almost a whole episode, you know, except for, you know, maybe like one or two surprise scenes. And some episodes are really gory, and this was a particularly gory one, especially and they killed off Noah, who was a pretty prominent character in this season. I think that's what they did. They did the same thing with Tyrese, and I thought that was a throwaway thing too. I don't know why they killed Tyrese off. They just try to. They always sort of. It's like what they did with Dale early on, in the first couple seasons. It's just like they're too good to be, and they're always like trying to adhere to something from when, you know, before the apocalypse, to adhere to their values and morals and things like that. So usually when they start acting like that too much, or talking about that too much, the character gets killed off. It's like the red shirt in Star Trek. They get killed off. And Rick isn't like that. Rick's getting darker and darker. And I think Michonne's, you know, a little bit like that. Daryl's always been kind of dark. Carol is dark. Carol threatened to tie a kid to one kid to a tree outside of the compound somewhere miles away, where he would get devoured because Carol was trying to get back the weapons that had been confiscated when they entered into the compound. So, I mean, Carol got really dark. She just did. She's messed up. She shot Lizzie that time because she killed her sister so she could turn into a zombie, because Lizzie was a young girl who got crazy because of the whole situation, and she just didn't differentiate, I think, after a while between the zombies and the living. So, and they didn't want her killing Judith. They didn't want her killing Rick's baby, so they, Carol said, look at the flowers, and shot Lizzie in the head, which is that was a fucked up episode too. This show's fucked up, really is. I mean, that's all I can say about it. I think it's a great show. I've got a lot of good things to say about it. I mean, everybody has criticism. I mean, no shows are perfect. I mean, people rip on this show so much. It's like, really, you have an episodic, epic show about zombies and people surviving in it, and they've managed to pull it off pretty well, I think. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I have my criticisms of it, of course, but it is what it is, you know. I mean, that's what you got. So, hopefully the next two last episodes of this season measure up and they're good. This is The Spectre. If you like my channel, subscribe. If you don't, don't ever watch my videos ever again. I don't care. Well, I would, you know, be nice if you did, but hey, have a good whatever rest of the week, and later.